The Russian Navy's first Project 885M Yasen M-class multipurpose nuclear-powered attack submarine Kazan is delayed. The Kazan was originally expected to join the Russian Navy's Northern Fleet in late 2018. But according to TASS state news agency, the submarine may not make it by even late 2020 due to emerging technical challenges. Kazan is one submarine that U.S. military was concerned about. Sometime back, U.S. Navy's top submarine officer, Rear Admiral Dave Johnson, stated, "We'll be facing tough potential opponents. One only has to look at the Severodvinsk, first vessel of Yasen class, Russia's version of a nuclear-guided missile submarine, SSGN. I was so impressed with this ship that I'd built a model from unclassified data so that he could look at it every day on his way to his office." In this video, Defense Updates reports on delay in deployment of Yasen M-class nuclear-powered attack submarine Kazan. Let's now go into the details. This video is sponsored by the free-to-play military vehicle combat game War Thunder. We talk a lot about military vehicles on this channel, but what about trying them out for yourself? In War Thunder, you can choose from more than 1,200 playable vehicles from the 1930s to the 1990s and go to battle on more than 80 theaters of war. You can fly aircraft, helicopters, drive tanks, and command ships of all types and sizes, which have been carefully recreated from their real-world counterparts. It's available as a free download on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. So grab your friends and give it a try. All viewers of Defense Updates that register using the link in the description below will also get a free premium tank or aircraft and 3 days of premium account time as a bonus. Kazan is the second boat of the Yasen class, separated from the first by 16 years, 1993 to 2009. Considerable changes were made to this from the first vessel, Severodvinsk. The Russian Navy declared that the submarine would be improved in comparison to Severodvinsk. Differences in the design from the original project have been thought to be sufficient to consider it as a new version, and it's named Yasen M. Yasen M is intended as a substantial improvement, based on the lessons learned from the lengthy development, construction, and testing process for the original Yasen class. Kazan is reportedly quieter than the lead Yasen class boat. It's built with low magnetic steel to reduce its magnetic signature, which will make it much harder to detect. The Yasen class, unlike older Soviet vessels, are multi-mission boats similar to American Seawolf or Virginia classes. The Yasen M-class vessels are 120 meters long, have a submerged displacement of 13,800 tons, and can travel up to 31 knots, that's 57 kilometers per hour, while submerged. They're also designed to dive to a maximum depth of 600 meters. Each ship of this class is designed to operate independently for up to 100 days. The submarine has massive armament capacity and is capable of anti-submarine, anti-ship, and land attack missions. Compared to the first vessel of class, Kazan will reportedly have 10 VLS silos, which are 2 more than Severodvinsk, and 8 torpedo tubes, which are 2 fewer when compared to Severodvinsk. The 10 VLS silos can carry 40 10 times 4 Onyx missiles, or 50 10 times 5 Caliber missiles. P-800 Onyx is supersonic anti-ship cruise missile, capable of speed up to Mach 2.5, and has a range of 600 kilometers or 373 miles. This will be used in the anti-ship role. The Caliber is equivalent to the American Tomahawk cruise missile in many parameters, such as range, warhead, and propulsion. It has a 2,500 kilometer or 1,554 miles range, a 450 kilogram or 1,000 pound high explosive warhead, and a turbofan engine. Similar to Tomahawk, it has a speed of Mach 0.8. This will be used for land attacks. It's important to note that some variants of Onyx and Caliber can be armed with nuclear warheads. The 8 torpedo tubes of 650 millimeters can carry 24 8 times 3 heavyweight torpedoes. These can be equipped with Type 65 torpedo for anti-submarine warfare. The torpedo has a range of 100 kilometers or 62 miles. Kazan's elaborate armament makes it one of the most potent attack submarines. It will be a threat for the enemy's surface combatants, land targets, as well as submarines. Kazan conducted its first set of factory and underwater sea trials in September 2018. As reported by TASS, its defense industry sources have stated that some of the Kazan's auxiliary systems have failed to meet the Russian Ministry of Defense's requirements. The source reportedly said, "Following the result of dockside trials and also the winter stage of shipbuilders trials, which ended in January, it's been established that some of the ship's auxiliary subassemblies and mechanisms do not meet the requirement of the specifications set by the Defense Ministry, including reliability characteristics, and require finalizing in the Sevmash dock." As per the original plan, Kazan was supposed to commence sea trials and live firing tests of P-800 Onyx and 3M54 caliber. According to the report, it may now take several months for these technical issues to be fixed. The source added, "It's absolutely unrealistic to accomplish all this by the end of the year. It's not ruled out that the entire year 2020 will be required, and the Sevmash shipyard will be able to deliver the sub to the fleet only in 2021. Alexei Rachmanov, head of the United Shipbuilding Corporation, which Sevmash is part of, disclosed few things. He stated that the sea trials have revealed a number of design flaws on the submarine. He said, "Testing submarines is not easy. First of all, we're talking about how the control systems, which were used for the first time on this submarine, work. Besides, I won't lie, a number of design flaws were discovered. So it's clear that a lot of work still needs to be completed before Kazan is combat ready." Project 885M Yashen is not the only project that's getting delayed. Russian President Mr. Putin revealed that a procurement plan is being laid out for acquiring 76 Su-57. The announcement was made during a meeting on May 15, 2019. These jets are expected to be deployed by 2028. The Kremlin previously planned to have 150 of these aircraft in service by 2020. The situation is the same for the Armata T-14 main battle tank. Initial reports suggested Kremlin will order as many as 2,300 Armatas by 2020. But recently it became clear that Russia will manufacture a limited number of only about 100 of these tanks. The issue is mainly due to financial constraints, which in turn is caused due to economic downturn. Time and again, Russian President Vladimir Putin has downplayed the impact of US and EU sanctions. He had always stated the American measures will be of no use. But in October 2018, Finance Minister Anton Siluanov, according to state-run TASS, while discussing the prospect of additional sanctions, had admitted sanctions are hurting and further sanctions will have a grave impact on Russia. He had said, "Foreign investors will hardly participate in our domestic financial market. The share of foreign investors has been declining in any case." Russia's growing state-of-the-art submarine fleet is apparently generating anxiety among the U.S. military. In June 2016, Vice Admiral James Foggo III, commander of the U.S. Sixth Fleet, wrote in the June issue of the U.S. Naval Institute's magazine that an effective, skilled, and technologically advanced Russian submarine force is challenging NATO's maritime dominance. Not only is Russia developing more powerful submarines, but it's also deploying them in more patrols. Admiral Vladimir Korolyov, the commander-in-chief of the Russian Navy, said his submarine crews spent more than 3,000 days under the water in 2016 alone. He added Russian subs are patrolling the seas at levels last seen during the Cold War. Russia plans to build a total of 7 Yasen-class submarines. 4 of these, Novosibirsk, Krasnoyarsk, Arkhangelsk, and Perm, are currently under construction at the Sevmast shipyards. But keeping in view the issues, it seems that Russian military has a long way to go.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.